r/ProRevenge.
Force me to deploy, I'll kill your career. Sorry, quite long. Many of you saw this on Petty Revenge, but I guess the mods thought it was too serious, so here it is again. Sorry about the repost. Let's go back a few years. I was a combat engineer platoon sergeant. We had recently gotten a new company commander who thought his shit didn't stink. My first interaction with him was when I got back from running a M240B range, where I was told he wanted to speak to all leadership immediately in the conference room. Well, it took 3 hours for him to arrive, and despite one SG calling many times, he insisted we stay. The entire meeting was him bragging about himself and saying that he was trying to get the company slotted for a deployment to the Middle East, as well as how excited he was to go. I spoke up and basically said he's a dumbass, but with more words, which ended the meeting, which got me a stern talking to and thinly veiled threats. This captain had been in for 15 years and never once been deployed. That takes effort and a lot of figurative dick sucking. He only wanted to go now because he was up for major. It turned out brigade had a mission and asked for volunteers. Captain Dipshit volunteered me to go despite knowing I had gotten married a week earlier. I made it very clear I did not want to go to the higher-ups. I was told it was between myself and the captain. Well, a month out, my sister-in-law committed suicide immediately after she miscarried at 33 weeks. Found them both in the basement of their house. Well, Captain Dipshit didn't care, no leave, and I was still to leave about a week after the funeral. Fuck him, I walked in to talk to the command sergeant major and was immediately dropped from the deployment. But the captain was so far up the battalion commander's ass that nothing happened to him. After about 8 months later, Captain Dipshit got his wish. Headquarters platoon and one other was slotted to deploy. Of course, because I had the most combat experience and most deployments in the platoon, he naturally decided that's why my platoon should go. Now, in order to deploy, you first have to go to a month-long field exercise where you are graded on performance. This generally applies to the higher levels of leadership. By this time I was just pissed. So I got my squad leaders together and improvised a few missions. First, everyone was to follow the CPT's instructions as literally as possible, no matter how dumb, and not to give any advice. This led us to getting absolutely destroyed in training, which was glorious. Secondly, and most importantly, was the psychological aspect. So, this dipshit commander would go to bed nightly at 2100 no matter what. In the deserts of California, you can find all sorts of creepy crawlies to slip in a sleeping bag while sprinkling juice on his uniform. They'd also periodically hide some of his gear or render his rifle inoperable. So for days this went on. Poor guy slept very little because I ensured his tent was set over top of a beehive. These bees hated any vibration and loved juice. The dumbass never realized why he was constantly getting stung. As we were to be falling under a new brigade, I had to go meet the higher-ups, and wouldn't you know it, the call we were set to fall under turned out had been my first company commander, who I got along great with. I pulled him aside and called up my squad leaders, where we basically told him Captain Dipshit was going to get someone killed, pointed out his erratic behavior and the overall poor performance. Needless to say, he was quickly relieved of command, career killer, and sent back to work in an office where he belonged. As for myself and my platoon, I still didn't want to go, but the new company commander was my old platoon leader from my second deployment, plus I couldn't let my guys go without me. Turned out it would be my last deployment, as some injuries force you out of the military, but everyone came back alive. Edit. I sent a text to one of the old squad leaders because for the life of me I couldn't remember exactly what the deal was with the captain. He had been a E4 prior to becoming an officer. Clearly I did not care enough to retain that information.
A response to the post.
Normally, this is the kind of story you hear about a second lieutenant, not a captain. The stupid is supposed to be weeded out by the time they reach that rank.
A response to this comment.
Captains are just specialists with degrees.
A response to the post.
Greater than first, everyone was to follow the CPT's instructions as literally as possible, no matter how dumb, and not to give any advice. Hey, I believe that's what's called a white mutiny.
A response to the post.
You saved everyone you cared about because you care. A selfish human would have got out and damn the rest. I wonder how your first CO got recycled back to your unit.
A response to the post.
By the title, I thought this was about a software engineer who didn't want to do DevOps.
A response to the post.
/r/militarist stories would probably like this as well.
Oh, peace response to this comment.
I could only post every 3 days there. Posted about an accidental discharge yesterday, smiley face.
A response to the post.
I was 100% waiting for you to tell us that Captain Dipshit was named Herman Sobel, and you weren't about to let loose, malarkey, and Guarnere deploy with that asshole leading Easy Company.
A response to the post.
You make everyone wait 3 hours the first time meeting? Military or not, that's a fucked up bad move and a great way to get everyone to hate you. 15 years seems like a long time to make 04. Shouldn't that be around 10 years?